There is nothing, and I mean nothing better than a crispy, crunchy, gorgeous samosa. But which way is best? In the deep fryer or in the air fryer? This week we tackle both and see which one is better. Veggie samosas, part of a meal or wicked on a platter. These things are crispy on the outside, fluffy on the inside, and perfectly spiced. If you want to learn how to make these and work out whether it's better in the deep fryer or the air fryer, then you're in the right place. It's Sunday, people, and I'm showing you how to make veggie samosas. There is a reason why samosas are loved worldwide. They're flaky, they're delicious, they're spicy, they're soft, they're all the textures that you love, and they are just a little bite of heaven. So here are some of the ingredients. Nothing too crazy, nothing too out there. We've got potatoes, because we're making veggie ones, and then this is really up for interpretation. Whatever you've got, you can kind of use, but I like to go with a bit of onion, garlic and ginger and a bit of chili. We're gonna do the classic. We're gonna chop it up, saute it off, add in the spices. We're gonna use a few little bits from the freezer too, so it's a great thing to bring together when you don't really have a lot. And the dough, super simple. Flour, a bit of oil, a bit of water. These honestly could not be easier to make at home. So let's get into making these little bites of joy, crispy, crunchy, soft and spicy samosas. That was a mouthful, but let's do it. Okay, the first job, we've got to make the dough. That is if you're making it, of course. But if you didn't want to make it, here are some alternatives. You could use spring roll pastry. You could probably buy puff pastry and use that. But you won't quite get the same effect as if you make it yourself. And it could not be simpler. It's only got like 3 ingredients, as many a good dough does. If you're looking for this recipe or any of my other recipes, head to my website. The link is in the description box down below, and there you can find all of the ingredients, all of the things that you need to do, and how to make it. This recipe that I'm making today makes roughly 6 small samosas. First up, we're going to go 140 grams of plain flour. When making dough as well, one of the most important things is that you season it. So be generous, about half a teaspoon of salt. And now here again, I'm going to add veg oil. If you were doing this truly traditionally, you could use ghee, which is just clarified butter. But I don't have any of them items, but I did have the veg oil, so that's what we're going to use today. There are always alternatives to nearly everything out there. So if you want to make it a little bit cheaper, or if you want to make it a little bit more fancy and a bit more expensive, there's always great options. So you want about 2 tablespoons of veg oil, and then we're going to go about 3 tablespoons of warm water, just because it brings the dough together a little bit nicer. And we'll add the 3, and I'm going to stir it together and just have a quick look. If you've watched any of my videos before where I'm talking about dough, it can be a little bit temperamental. So if it's very dry where you live, you might need to add another half a tablespoon, but always go with 3 to start, because you're definitely going to need that, and then you can amend if you need to change it. But just bring it together with the spoon, and then I'm going to go in with my hand and see if it comes together. So here I can see it is a tiny little bit dry, so I am just going to add that other little touch of water. It's not a lot, like I said, half a tablespoon, and it just really means that it comes together a little better. So just knead it together a little bit for a few minutes. And while you're kneading, what this is doing is letting the water start to incorporate, and that is why it's so important to rest as well. That water will fully hydrate all of the flour while it sits there. So all you need to do is just knead it for a few minutes and start to bring it together. You don't need to make sure that it's super bouncy and all of them things that you would do with a regular yeasted dough. This can just look like that, and by the time it's sat there for that half an hour, hydrated and relaxed, we're going to have a way springier dough. So we'll get that covered up and we'll move on to the filling. Next up, the filling. I'm only making 6 samosas here, and they're only going to be small, so I'm probably just going to use 1 potato. But this is a really easy recipe to double, to triple, to do whatever. And what I like to do with this recipe is boil the potato, and then we can add it to the mix once it's done. Very difficult to kind of cook it all off together and make sure that potato's cooked, because you do want that kind of soft interior of the potato. So I'm going to peel and dice this guy, get him on the stove, get him cooking, and while that's happening, we're going to do the other bits. So So just peel and dice your potato to nice, small sized pieces, because obviously you see the amount of dough we have. We want to make sure that it can all get inside this lovely samosa. So make sure it's small. Add it to cold water, a little bit of salt, pop it on. Probably only going to take 5 to 10 minutes to cook, because they are so tiny. Either chuck the peelings in the compost, or you can make another little snack. I've added a video up here about scraps to snacks if you're keen on reducing your food waste. The potato is on, and it's coming to a boil. Now we need to prepare the other bit. So we've got the onion, the garlic, the chili, the ginger, the coriander, and then we've got the spices to go in it. This bit, up to you. Don't have fresh chili? Don't worry about it. Don't like chili? Don't worry about it. Don't put it in. If you've only got an onion, that is also fine. If you don't have coriander, not a problem. As I've said before, it's all about using whatever you've got. So if you don't have these but had them in dried format, that's great. So I'm going to use the one onion, dice it up small. I'm going to use a tiny bit of this chili because I know that they're hot, and if you saw my last video where I ate a piece, stupid supermarket chili, I daren't go near it again because it might blow my head off. So definitely not too much of that. And I'm just going to use a little tiny thumb-sized piece ginger, maybe 5 grams. We're going to grate this up. If you're looking for something amazing for these to perhaps be a starter with, I've got an incredible video about my ultimate veggie Indian feast. Go have a look at that, get some ideas, get your friends round and make them something banging for dinner. As you saw there, I grated the ginger and the garlic. It's just a wicked way to do it. If you haven't got one of them, what I was using, it's called a microplane. They are just the best piece of equipment for the kitchen. I use it every day, I reckon. And then we're just going to talk about the spices. Here is my lovely little spice tin, and as you can see, there's lots of yummy things in here. I've got turmeric, I've got chili powder, I've got curry powder, garam masala, some fenugreek, some cardamom, and some fenugreek, and then this is actually coriander seeds, which are fantastic. So out of all of these little ingredients here, you can kind of mix and match it however you like. I would imagine that most people at home have a curry powder. If that's all you've got, then just use that. But if you can blend all these things together, you get a way more complex flavour. And I've also got here some onion seeds, or nigella seeds, as they are often called. These things are one of my favourite. The flavour in these little things, absolutely incredible. But it just has a really, you can taste it when it's in anything, but it's just, it just reminds me of yummy food and like eating good curry. We'll get this working, get some spices in there. By that point, the potatoes should be cooked and I can add them in hot. Oh, again, let's just kind of smash it all up a little bit once everything's softened, and then put it to one side and leave it to cool. And by which time our dough will have rested, done its thing, we can roll it out and get these things cooked, because I am salivating. It's nearly lunchtime and I'm hungry. And that's it. That is the interior done. As you saw there when I added in the potatoes, I added a little bit of their water too, because it just brings it all together. It gives them peas that I chucked in, only like 50 grams, not a lot. You don't need tons of them in there. They're just for that little bite of freshness. But you kind of want it all to come together. And you can see there also the potatoes, some of them still holding their shape, others have kind of broken up a little bit into a little bit of that kind of mashed potato vibe. You want a little bit of both. I also added in a touch of salt with them onions just to soften them a little bit quicker. And now all you need to do is give it a little taste. Yeah. Oh, that is bloody delicious. No more extra salt needed, because obviously we put a little bit in with the potatoes, a little bit in with the onion. So all I'm going to do now, pop it on a plate and cool it down, and then we can make them. Well, it is going to be delicious. This is cold, and here we have our dough. So all you need to do now is just work it a little bit. We'll give it a bit of a knead, and look at that difference. Look at that now compared to what it looked like before. That's what I mean when you're making a dough like this with oil or ghee and no yeast. You don't need to give it that crazy knead in the beginning, because once it's rested, hydrated, it turns into this. So out of this little bit of dough, we're probably going to get 6 samosas, maybe 7, not quite sure, but we'll cut it up into 6 little pieces. I'm going to get a little bit of flour on the table and we're going to roll them out and then we're going to make them. So as you can see, I've rolled them quite thin because obviously we are going to deep fry these and you want to make sure that the pastry cooks, because there's nothing worse than like a raw bit of pastry. So fairly thin, you know, you can't quite see through it, but you also need to make sure that there's enough integrity. And when I said maybe I could have got 7, this guy, he's a little bit big, but whoever gets that one is going to be in for a treat. So let's fill them up. And a little nibble for me to eat now. Oh my God. It really is good. And then we just need to fold them. Or you can pick them up and gather them into gorgeous little tops like this. All you want to do is just make sure that that pastry is completely sealed. So like this is more empanada vibe and you can just squish around the edge. But I do always suggest that you have like a little bit because this is the bit that goes super crunchy and absolutely next level. And also you can see here, these are very generous. I mean, that's because I like food and that's the way I like to make things. But you of course could make these much smaller and have them as a little bite. Make sure they're all fully joined at the top there. And what's great about this is because of the style of the pastry, you don't need to make them wet to stick them. There's enough oil in there and moisture to join it all up like that. Now it is time to cook. You may have heard me say while I was wrapping these the word deep fry. Deep fry, of course, is a fantastic way to make samosas because it just gives that incredible crispiness. But I thought, let's do an experiment. You all know that I love the air fryer. If you're new around here, it's a very handy appliance. It's made its way into my kitchen, even though I've been a professional chef for 20 years, and I know that there are other ways you can cook stuff. But the air fryer, very handy, very convenient. So what we are going to do is do some of these in the air fryer and we're going to deep fry some and we are going to compare the pair. So let's get to it. The oil's on. I'm popping these in the air fryer and when they're done, we can work out which is best. I do feel though, in this scenario, it may be the deep fried, but there you go. And also I have a new book out, so if you're looking for some amazing air fryer recipes, head to my website, the link is in the description, and there you can buy my book, Will It Air Fry? It's full of over 30 amazing recipes, 10 of which 100% exclusive to the book, never to be seen on any of my socials. It's a great book. It's only $7.99, so if you live here in New Zealand, that's about the price of a cup of coffee, which is absolutely ludicrous. But for that, you get to keep something that can help you in the kitchen. The air fryer samosas I've put in at 180 and we're going to go for about 20 minutes. And about halfway through, I'm going to give them a little spritz of oil just to give them the best chance of crisping up. And with the ones that we're deep frying, we're going to cook them for about 10 minutes. But you want to make sure you keep the oil at about 160, 165. You want to do it a little bit slower, again, because we want to cook the dough. Here is the deep fried. So I mean, you can see here, look at these beautiful bubbles, the way it's crisped up, the colour looks sensational. Here comes the wah wah. No, here, something different. It's the baked one. Of course, it's going to look different from being deep fried. Equally as delicious dough, but I mean, just maybe not as wonderful as a deep fried one, because you get that bubble in the dough, you know, good colour all around. But it is all in the taste test. Here's the air fried one. The filling, of course, delicious. And let's listen to the deep fried one because I think it may be slightly better. Ah, of course. I mean, again though, same interior. Let's get into the verdict. We're going air fried first. I mean, they're never gonna be bad because that interior is so delicious. But of course you don't have quite the crisp that I think we might have on the deep fried ones, but nonetheless, a great, healthier alternative for making a samosa. Now, to the good guy, to the other one, again, shouldn't be biased, but I can't help but love a little bit of deep fried stuff. Unfortunately, I do think the deep fried wins, but it's solely because it really gives that crust a great chance to become something fantastic. Oh, that is great. So if you've enjoyed this video today, give me a like, give me a subscribe, and if you're looking for any recipes, you can visit my website. They are all there, and there is so many to choose from. This has been Veggie Samosas. It's still delicious. And I will see you all next week. Thanks for tuning in. See you later. Bye.